We are Makilala TV, the first Filipino-American TV talk show in the New York metro area. Get to know us as we talk to the community leaders, innovators, advocates, and emerging artists who affect Filipino-American life.
Aren't you curious about what is in the minds of the next generation of Filipino Americans? What do they talk about when they get together? When they start their day, what drives them to get up and do what they do? Are they preoccupied with struggles on how to survive? Or are they thriving in their chosen careers, planning the next big project, or the next grand vacation? Are the young Filipino Americans proud to be American? Are they happy to be living in America, or would they rather be somewhere else? Joining us in today's conversation are two young, community-connected Filipino Americans. Lauren Lalicon, who is the co-founder and executive director of Professional Filipino American Youth, a network organization for young FilAms in New Jersey. She also works with the New Jersey Governor's Office. Mark Eyo, who is joining us virtually from Utah, is the communications lead for the National Federation of Filipino American Associations, or NaFFAA. He and his family are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He graduated from Brigham Young University Marriott School of Business. Outside of NaFFAA, Mark works in project management for a tech company in West Jordan, Utah. Together with my co-hosts Rachelle Ocampo and Cristina Pastor, who is finally back in New York, we welcome you all to Makilala TV.
Yes.
Hi, welcome everybody to Makilala. So I'm gonna straight back directly to the question. So Mark, are you proud to be an American?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me here. I feel I need to channel my inner Steve Jobs and wear my
Yes, we see that.
seated with this very smart and elite group of people. I think of course, very proud. I think we learned from psychology that in order for one to be proud about something, there must be a foundation of enough happy memories or accomplishments within that culture. And to most of our young Filipinos who were born and raised here in the United States, they're lucky to have enough of those core experiences, whether it's from a 4th of July celebration, from a history class, or watching like a 9/11 tribute video. So they know the why is it important to be proud of being an American. But we must also acknowledge that a big portion of our young Filipinos were born in the Philippines and just moved here to the United States. And for some of them, they haven't had enough of those core experiences, of those foundations yet. So very proud, but we must also acknowledge that there are different layers into being proud. And this is the same principle.
It's like you're skirting the question. But I'm just teasing you. But you are proud to be an American.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you've had enough of those core experiences of being
I
American.
feel like
that you're
I was lucky
yes,
to have enough of
this
those.
is me.
Some are lucky to have enough of those core experiences, while others are still working on it.
Very good. How about you, Lauren?
I would say that I'm proud to be an American. I think right now, a lot of young people tend to be a lot more critical and they take a very critical perspective on what it means to be an American. I think there are a lot of privileges and benefits to being an American, but there's a lot of history and turmoil. I think when you really dig deep into the identity of being an American, I think politics, just racial injustice, when you dig deep into just the way that American culture operates, it's sometimes hard to say that you are proud to be an American. But I think I'm proud to be an American when I think of the ways that America can be, should be. So in that sense, I know a vision for what America can be. And so I'm very proud to be part of, hopefully be part of making that reality happen.
So your generation, who are your role models?
I'd say I find role models a lot in the Filipino community. Mm-hmm. I think being in this work.
Can you name some?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm very active, or I was active recently or in the past with FilPro, Filipino Young Leaders Programs. One of my I had a lot of precious memories with that organization, And there's a lot of role models that I have in the organization, like Rachelle.
I was waiting for that.
I had to drop her name first.
But thank you.
That's why they sat together.
I have to ask you the same question, Mark. Who are your role models? And who are the role models of your generation? Do you follow celebrities? Do you follow so-called influencers?
Role models.
Yeah.
For me, role models. When I look at role models, again, I'm a policy analyst in build, so I look whoever has empathy, whoever I could connect with, and who could connect with me, whoever's relatable, whoever stands out from the rest, whether because they're smart, they're eloquent, they have they have style, and someone who is someone who, again, who I can relate with.
Any Filipino?
One of my role model.
Any Filipino idol
maybe
that you have?
Maybe due to recency bias, is I think Brendan Force.
Brandon,
Because I just always hang out with him, and because he's like one of those people. Because again, I get a chance to know him as a person, and then I get a chance to see how easy to relate with him as a person and as a leader. Like when he speaks, that it's like you can easily connect with him, somehow. And I know Rachelle, Tita Cristina, and Jen could relate with this.
Wow.
So he's one of those guys, and knowing like how much he sacrificed for his community. So it's like those things are what I admire when I look at a role model.
Brendan is actually the chairman of NaFFAA.
Yes.
So for people who may not be aware.
So what about you, Rachelle?
Like who's my role model? Because I'm still a young Filipino American. Thank you for asking, Jen. Yes. No, I always bring it back to my mom. She's always my role model. I mean, I'm sure people could relate to a mother figure in their life.
Yeah.
She's always just been there for her family, being selfless, brave in coming here to America, and being able to give us the foundation. I'm already getting emotional because she's in the audience now, and I can't make eye contact or else I'll lose it. But yes, I feel like that we all have that type of motherly role model for anyone. Yes. But my question for let's start with Mark is, what do young Filipino Americans do for recreation? What do you do for fun?
What we do for fun.
Aside from
for me,
karaoke.
Do they even do
talk to my
karaoke?
friends, what we do for fun, listen to podcasts. Again, there's a lot of information in our generation, whether it's from social media, from the internet, which is a good and a bad thing. So for me, I love like reading. I love learning about things and how to make myself better and how to feel good about myself. Whether it's books, whether it's podcasts, and a lot of my friends, or maybe it's just me, are just very entrepreneurial nowadays.
Oh, yes.
Like
That's true.
learning about
Very
crypto,
entrepreneurial.
learning about starting a business, just like what Lauren is,
Oh, that's
leading a
interesting,
nonprofit,
yeah.
or owning something.
Yeah.
And of course,
Why-
the
why
most
is that?
important thing is
Why is
watching
that,
Korean
Mark?
drama.
Why are young Filipino Americans driven to make money for themselves?
Wow. I guess for me, it's our generation. We learned about finance and accounting and business like at an early stage. They enforce it a lot in high school, and I feel like it's something that we just want to own something. We just want to lead, and we just want to make a difference quick. I think for me, like that's one of my hypotheses.
Yeah. Want to be independent too, right?
I think that's also one of the benefits of being in America, is that you can come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And if you work hard and you have the right connection sometimes and timing,
And
then you
being
could-
lucky.
and
Yes.
it will happen. So going back to Lauren, like Rachelle's question, like what do you do for fun? I mean, you guys have so many things going on.
Yeah, sometimes it's like opportunity overload. I think in my spare time, when I'm not, when I'm at work, when I'm not doing Filipino community stuff, I watch a lot of Asian dramas. I listen to a lot of Asian music.
I was waiting for someone to say K-drama or something.
Oh yeah. No, I watch a lot of Korean dramas. I watch a lot of Chinese dramas, but I always try to, as much as possible, dive into Filipino dramas and music, because I think there's such a increase. There's a lot of attention right now in Korea, now like starting to have more attention to China, but Philippines is always like people will, even Filipinos, they'll go to other other types of media before they consider Filipino.
Why? Do
entertainment.
you understand, by the way, the language?
Barely. I can get around. I can get the gist
okay.
of it. But if you ask me to translate, it'd be you sit down for like an hour.
So I'm curious also, are young Filipino Americans into TikTok?
Oh, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
why? Why do you go there?
I think
I
it's,
mean, why does your generation go there? That's it.
I think it's because, and I mean, I do it too. It's because it's such an easy way to get as much information as possible. Because you only have like maybe at most 3 minutes for a video, and if you don't like that video, you can just scroll and get to another video. It's a really easy way to get as much information as possible and like very niche.
I heard
think
too.
It's like an
yeah.
instant gratification.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just the views, like, oh, okay, my video is getting like 100 views. You're gonna
But
want to.
I heard too that like even though you don't like to be on TikTok, if you have a message that you want to send, you don't tell the people to come to you. You go to them. So there's a lot of TikTok users, a lot of Instagram users. So you create your platform in those medium, so that you can get the message across.
And TikTok is really good. Their algorithm is really good. So there's like there's clean TikTok, which is all just about cleaning. There's like a Broadway TikTok, all about Broadway. Like you can go to these really niche areas and cater to that specific audience. It's really easy to get views.
I grew up always be still connected to the Philippines. So when I first came here, I was just 20 years old, all by myself, and I kept sending money. That was like, my generation, we send money to the Philippines. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any more family left in the Philippines that you send money to.
So for me, most of my family is in the U.S. So my connection's back in the Philippines. I'm planning on actually going next February, but I direct family like that are first cousins or even aunts and uncles. They're all here. So I'm gonna I will have to connect with more extended relatives to really find someone who's going to be able to take me around. But I think, we don't have that direct connection as we used to. At least I don't for myself.
So you don't. Sorry. Go ahead. So you don't have in your consciousness this desire to help people or to send balikbayan boxes, just to keep connected with relatives back home. Or to send money, right?
Remittances.
Remittances, yeah.
So because I don't have that family connection, it's not as strong.
But your parents did, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
And same with you, Mark. Your parents were connected to family back home through balikbayan boxes, through remittances, calling.
Well, so my mom and dad are still in the Philippines. I still have a lot of nieces and cousins, and still, again, just like what Lauren said, it depends on how much connection you have in the Philippines. But for me personally, I feel like it would be against my values to not send if they need it. It's like I love my mom, I love my lolas, I love my titas, I love my 20 plus cousins.
So you send balikbayan boxes during Christmas?
Depends on that connection still.
You send balikbayan
Sorry,
boxes? You send balikbayan boxes during Christmas?
I send a lot of chocolates.
Yes.
And basketball shoes.
Go ahead, Rachelle.
No, I mean, following up with that question, my whole thing is that the Philippines is so reliant on remittances, on just overseas workers. I'm wondering that after our generation, with us not having any solid personal connections, our family members, is the Philippines going to lose out on all these future generations? So I
think that's the number one economy booster in the Philippines too.
Yeah.
So if we stop sending money, then what happens to the Philippine economy?
That's right. It has long-term implications.
Yeah. Well, I think eventually the country is going to have to adjust over time, because there's not as we can continue to send money back, but the country is going to have to adjust for the number of Filipinos that don't continue to send remittances after generations continue to grow in the U.S.
I mean, Mark and Lauren, you're both very connected to the Filipino American community. You do nonprofit work aside from your regular jobs. I mean, is that typical of every Filipino American?
Do you want to go first?
Mark?
You can go, Mark.
I guess for me, what I most of our younger Filipino Americans nowadays is they would love to be civically engaged and participate in these things that empowers the fellow men and fellow women. So I feel like it's normal. We have that desire to serve and participate, but it's competing against many other things that we want to accomplish as well.
So do you have any
Maybe-
friends who are not, who are Filipinos but are not involved in the community?
Oh, of course, yeah. There's a lot.
There's
But
a
I
lot.
also have a lot who are But I also have a lot who participants in government and nonprofits. So I have I have friends from both sides.
What about you, Lauren?
Yeah, I'd say the majority of my Filipino friends, I have like a lot of Filipino friends who are very active in the community, but I have a significant number who aren't. I think it's the mentality where like your family has made it in the U.S. I think you don't need to really be as active to continue to strive. And I think people get comfortable. And I think this type of community work is kind of thankless. You put a lot of work into it, a lot of energy and time, and you won't see the fruits of your efforts until years down the line. So it can get you get burned out. So I'm surprised. Oh no, I've gotten burned out over the past few years.
Talk about burnout. Rochelle, you've been doing community work since I known you, about 10 years now. So now you're in a different chapter of your life, 2 kids and everything. Do you feel like you're overextended or?
Almost every other day, yes.
Every other day?
Every other day,
Okay.
yes.
So at least there's a pause.
Even on maternity leave, I'm still doing community work. And I was like, this is more tiring than my real job.
Okay.
It's very tiring, but it's fulfilling. Like I just got an email from one of the families that attended the next game that we coordinated with NaFFAA. And they were so thankful that their kids were able to participate and experience being with other Filipinos. And I shared that with the team and I said, this is why we're doing the work that we do. And that's what makes it such a fulfilling work.
I guess, like as we get close to, to the end of our conversation, my next question is, 10 years from now, what do you want this generation to be remembered as?
I think I want to continue to see young Filipinos active in this space. I think Filipinos, we tend to be the most active in our communities. At least that's what I see in New Jersey. Like you see a lot of young Filipinos who are participating in a lot of nonprofits.
Compared to other ethnicities?
As far as I can see, yeah. But it's hard. Like I think we need to continue that momentum. We see a lot of like Filipinos in college, super active, but then they drop off after they graduate because there's not that community that's continuously.
Are they
around them.
engagement more in government or more in community service, entertainment?
There's definitely not a lot of Filipinos in government, but I think entertainment and like in community service, you'll see a lot more Filipinos who are active. But there's like the older generation and then there's the younger generation in college. So we just need to make sure that we continue to create a pipeline for the younger generation so that they can take over the organizations or build new organizations or really just make a name for the Filipino community, building off the foundation of the older generation.
That's where PFA comes in.
Yeah.
That pipeline stops when people get married, right? And have kids.
Not for me.
Not in
I'm
Rachelle's
trying to
case,
break
though.
that ideal, yes.
But we've seen it in
I'm-
some community leaders.
What
Yes,
about you,
it is.
Mark? What do you want the next generation? I mean, like 10 years from now, what do you want people to remember your generation?
Well, just to tie in with what Lauren said, we are moving from that generation. I guess like maybe 5 years, 10 years ago, it's either you make a difference or you make money, but you can't have both. So a lot of people.
Oh, that's so sad.
Sorry. I guess like the rising generation, they're more of like they want to take ownership of things. They want to lead, they want to act, they want to be out there. And I hope the pandemic gave us a lot of time to really ponder of the energy that we could bring to this community could make a lot of difference. So I am looking forward for the next generation to just hold on to that baton and just lead and act and learn, because that's how we grow as leaders. Like we gotta be out there, we gotta be shaking hands, we gotta be talking to people, we gotta be learning about different concerns and communicating, and that's how we become the best leaders for the future. So yeah, that's my vision for the future.
You have time for another question?
Yeah, quick question.
Question. I'm curious, what is your attitude towards the American dream? That in our generation, the boomer generation, that is what motivated many of us, right? To come to America, give a better life to our families. Does your generation have the same aspiration?
I think the American dream of our parents was definitely a reality, but I think the American dream needs to kind of get an update for this generation, because I think the struggles of the past are not the struggles we have right now. And so in order to be successful, there's so many different levels of success in living currently in America. So I'd say it is possible, but we just need an update.
What about you, Mark?
Yeah, just to build up to Lauren's comments, again, it's just like a different version of success for us right now. We want to take ownership of something, we want to lead, and we want to make a difference quickly. So it's more of that entrepreneurial way of life. So we want to lead, invest. So yeah, that's because that is for me personally, just like, make money, make a difference.
Yeah, it's interesting starting to see the difference between our parents' generation and our generation.
Yeah.
It's more of, for them, it's surviving paycheck to paycheck. For us, it's more of like, how do we thrive? How do we not just build a foundation, but really work above what our parents have built for us?
But we also have some similarities, like getting an education. I think that's common to both generations. Right?
Yeah, I think education.
Getting a good job. Everybody aspires to
there's that
right?
definition of like, what is a good job?
What is a good job?
Yeah, because
what
for our
job
parents,
fulfills you, right?
For our parents, it's more of stability. For us, it's more of fulfillment.
Yeah.
So that's a different
It's
mentality.
being
too.
a nurse, right? For our parents. Sorry about that joke.
It's reality. That's what Filipino is known for.
I think everything changed too. Like before, you have to own a home, and now you're digital nomads. I mean, you
That's
don't have
right,
to own a
yeah.
home. You have to
Yeah.
you can go from one place to the other.
That's right. And people are not getting married. Younger people are not getting married.
Yeah,
right?
they're waiting a little
Or not
longer.
having children right away.
Yeah, that's right.
Or at
that's
all.
right.
Or at all.
Or not at all.
But overall, I think the core value is still there. Family,
Education.
community. It's still intact.
Yeah.
So that's one, and belief and faith. I mean, that's one thing that I think we have to hold on to, and to pass that on to the next generation, so that we don't lose track of the reason why we love to be here, and we love to be we love to be Filipino and Filipino American. I can't believe that's it for our panel. To all, maraming salamat, especially to our special guests, Mark of NaFFAA and Lauren of, how do you say,
Professional Filipino
Filipino young professionals. And to finish, we're going to finish on a musical note. We have a violinist, Anna Maria Manalo. But first, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for making time. Sa ulitin, until next time, here at Makilala TV. Today's musical performer, Anna Maria Manalo, is a pianist, composer, and violinist who has performed in various settings here in the US, the Philippines, Canada, and Germany. Ms. Manalo, welcome to Makilala TV.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank
So
you.
honored that you're here too. So tell us something about your musical piece that you're performing today.
So my Lolo Julian, he was a composer in the 1920s, a great uncle, and he composed kundiman, which are traditional Philippine love songs. And what I'm performing is a variation of one of his kundiman called Hindi Kita Malilimot. I won't forget you.
So how long did it take to do this composition?
Okay, so I've been working on it since you decided to put me on the show. But I have to say, just in the last 2 days, I changed it completely.
Amazing.
Because I had, if you remember, I had a piano track, and then I decided against it. And so this
But
is something new.
it sounds like a beautiful piece, and we can't wait to hear it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Ms. Manalo a big round of applause.
Thank you.